Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's show is something very refreshing. I'm sure you're all Tonight's show is something extremely refreshing. I'm sure you'll all agree. This is the second story by this wonderful author, A10A10A10, over on Reddit No Sleep. Of course, as ever, please do let us know down below in the comments what you thought. Please do like and share and help build this channel and community. And don't forget the hashtag TeamFEAR. As you know, guys, we're trying to smash through the milestone of 10k by April. We are doing so well. Thank you all so much for the extra effort and shares and likes. I'll be getting back to your comments very soon tonight. Without further ado, let's get into tonight's story, entitled I was cryogenically frozen for 45 years. Let's get straight into that. January 12th, 1967 is known by some in the scientific community as Bedford Day, the first time that a human being was cryogenically preserved. I was there when it happened. I was 68 years old at the time. Yes, if you do the math, you'll see that I am currently the ripe old age of 118. If you could count my frozen years, that is. If not, I'm 71. But I was there with Dr. James Bedford's body when they froze him, and I arranged with his doctors to be their second attempt when my time came. It's humbling writing this right now with the knowledge that I'm the oldest person on Earth. The first year of my life was during the 1800s, which must seem like horse feathers to you youngsters reading this. The house I grew up in didn't have electricity. I saw one of these computers once during the 1960s, but I was already old and knew nothing of them. The way they're used now, I just can't wrap my head around it. The fact that invisible signals in the air could make music and motion pictures magically appear on a device in front of me. It's all balled up. I was in the American Corps fighting in the trenches during the last 100 days of the Great War. I remember how we cheered when the armistice was signed. I participated in some battles against the revolution in Russia, orchestrated by the Bolsheviks. Given how things ended up for us, I can now see we should have taken that war more seriously. You see, I'm not sure if any of you out there even know the same history as I do. I don't know if parts of the past have been hidden and covered up, or if I now live in an entirely different place. Where do I begin? 1969, I suppose. The moon landing. This terrified the Soviet Union, and I think it's when they first realised they wouldn't be able to stand up to the United States in the long run. I see that your history books say the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. I'm shocked to read that, and I'm even more shocked to see that there's no mention of the virus. In 1970, you see, the Russians engaged in biological warfare. A virus was unleashed in the United States that couldn't be stopped. It started with eczema, usually on your arms and legs. It was pinkish and flaky. It would be itchy at first, but would spread and get much worse. People would be covered with agonizing sores all over their body, which would eventually start dripping blood, leading to exsanguination. It was pretty much 100% death rate for those who got infected. The west coast of the United States was hit first, and the entire cities were wiped out. It was highly contagious person to person, and there seemed no end to where it would spread. Were the Russians prepared for such effects? Were they holding on to a cure in case the disease spread all the way back to the motherland? I don't know. Because when the death rate reached 20 million in the United States alone, I made a visit to some doctors that I know. They told me that there was a much higher chance that my freezing would be successful than Dr. Bedford. He had been dead for days when they froze him. I was still alive. The question, however, was, would there be a world left for me to wake up to? I remember them giving me a needle that would put me to sleep. And then I was sitting up in a hospital bed, and I was told it was the year 2015. I remembered nothing in between. Some doctors came in and explained what had happened to me after my initial freezing. I was handed over to a company called the Alcor Life Extension Foundation. They are the leading company that professionally store cryogenically frozen bodies. They currently have 149 bodies in cryopreservation. I was there first. I have a feeling that this business is now controlled by the American government, and that it was essential that this whole experience is kept secret. These scientists seemed as surprised as I did that their procedure successfully brought me back to life. They bombarded me with questions. What did you experience while frozen? Is your memory working properly? Is everything in functioning order? But I had just one question for them. What happened with the virus? The scientists looked at each other in confusion, and then one of them looked at me and said, "Don't worry about that for now." They told me that I am now living in a very different world than the one I left in 1970. Did they mean technology-wise? Or that this really was a different world? Because I couldn't get any information about the virus, they refused to ever talk about it. In fact, they gave me an entirely new identity, and after many months in that facility, I was eventually allowed to leave. The money I left with them had grown to a substantial sum, and I was perfectly fine to live off it the rest of my life. I was told not to mention anything that happened to me, and just to accept my new life. They didn't have much to worry about if I talked. It would just be seen as the ramblings of an old man. I used this time to try and catch up to this new world. I'm new to this stuff, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. I know the terms smartphone now, and tablet, social media, and was even introduced to this website that I'm currently writing on. So, was the virus real, and has somehow been covered up by all the world governments? I guess so. Is it possible that the freezing process has altered my memory in strange ways, and that the virus never really even happened? Sure. Is it possible that I'm still frozen and dreaming right now, and all of you reading this are a part of my imagination? I suppose so. Or maybe, after being dead for 45 years and waking back up, it created some science fiction type dimensional jumping. It's within the realm of possibility, sure. But I just wish the scientists took the whole situation more seriously. Because there's a pinkish blemish that appeared on my left arm. It's itchy for now, but I think it will get worse. Wow, fantastic short story there from A10A10A10. Do take time to check his Reddit link in the description box below. Has some amazing amount of very interesting, wonderful adventure, cryptid stories on his Reddit. It's well worth taking the time to sit down and have a read through some of his wonderful work. As ever though, please do let me know down below in the comments what you thought. Please do like and share and help build this channel and community. And of course, don't forget the hashtag TeamFEAR. I had a series in one recording ready for you tonight, guys, but I've had to hold it off for a couple of days due to another channel getting hold of it. Really interesting series about a person that works as a roadkill cleanup guy, but also a cryptid hunter. Stay tuned for that one and many more. And as ever, remember, be safe, not sorry.